Alright, welcome to another episode of how to make a RNG game on Roblox. Now, again, first of all, sorry, I hope you had a nice Christmas, I hope you got a lot of presents and whatnot. But before we start, I would like to say that I have accidentally recorded a episode without actually my mic recording. So I am just gonna show you what I've done, and then I'm gonna just add a few more things because I wasn't really finished with the episode. So now, before we start, I would like to show you the new opening GUI. First of all, I will gonna show you the effect, because I have added a small little effect as soon as you open the GUI. As you can see, it looks a lot cleaner. So what we're gonna do firstly is go to the lighting, and in here you are gonna add a blur effect. So add a blur effect like this, and add another color correction effect. And both of them should be named UI blur and UI CC. UI blur obviously on the blur effect, and UI CC on the UI color correction. Now if we go in the opening GUI, which you can find under underscore inventory inside our side buttons, or in the inventory handler. No, sorry, not the inventory handler, the opening GUI, right here. Inside here, change the open time to 0.5, the open info to easing style back and easing direction out. Next up, you want to add this entire thing. So make sure inside of our remotes folder under replicated storage, you add inside of this remotes folder right here a bindable event, not a remote event, but a bindable event. This bindable event should be called toggle UI effect, like this, alright? Make sure it is called exactly. Now just call the event by saying remotes wait for child toggle UI effect dot event connect to a function and add a bool inside here. Now you are just gonna define the blur. So local blur is lighting, the lighting is also needs to be defined up here below replicated storage or below players, doesn't really matter, just make sure it defines it somewhere. So local lighting, this game gets always lighting. Now down here, make sure you go for local blur, it's the lighting wait for child UI blur, so this one, and the local correction or color correction, or CC for short, is lighting wait for child UI CC. One more thing that I forgot is make sure the UI blur set the size to 0, alright? Make sure it is not on any value, just 0. And for the color correction, you can leave the basic ones, but I've added a 0.25 contrast and a 1 saturation because the game will look much better. Now for the camera is local camera is equal to the workspace dot current camera. So what I've also done is I went into the camera right here and changed the field of view to 80. Before it was 70 like this, but I've changed it to 80. So it looks better in my opinion. You don't have to do this, but it looks better in my opinion. Now you can also add the local effect info, which is a tween info with 1 second. The easing style is exponential and the direction is out. Now all you have to do is write those 3 lines and you can copy and paste them down here. So if the bool is true, then you can tween the blur to set the size to 12 and the color correction, tween it so the brightness is negative 0.25. Now tween the camera to the field of view 60. If you leave the field of view at 70 instead of setting it to 80 like I've done, then you have to make sure, or you don't have to, but it just looks better if it's negative 20, whatever it is right now. So like the base value, if your base value is like 70, make sure you subtract 20, so in the end it would be 50. But I am gonna keep it at 60 because I have a field of view of 80. Now you can copy and paste them down here, make sure the blur is back at 0 or the size is back at 0, the brightness is back at 0 and the field of view is back at your original value. Now, one more thing that I've added inside here is I have changed all of those. So the tween service actually tweens the position of the OpenGUI to 0.45 as well as the previous GUI to the 0.45 value right here. Make sure it is 0.45 and not 1.5 that you've had before. And you want to make sure that the OpenGUI is gonna be not visible anymore, as well as the previous GUI. And all you have to do is call remotes.toggleUIEffect and fire that with false, alright? Down here at the else, you want to make sure that the OpenGUI.position is 0.45 as well. The OpenGUI.visible is true, and remotes.toggleUIEffect this time with true, alright? Next up, I've changed this as well to 0.45 and added this little thing. So previous GUI is gonna be not visible anymore. And if you've done everything correctly, it should look exactly the same as I have right here. I can show you it again. If something doesn't look the same, you have made a mistake. And I can help you out in my Discord server, which I'm gonna link below. So right here is the effect. If you open it, it will do this effect, and if you close it, it does it again. Exactly. Now we can stop the game and go into our rolling handler. Inside rolling GUI, go into rolling handler and add a accept connection and a decline connection, because we are gonna be scripting the accept button and the decline button. So first do local accept connection and comma decline connection. You can also do two variables, but we're gonna keep it simple like that. Now you want to add this entire function, which is gonna be local function turn off UI with the UI info, which is a tween info, or like colon tween info. Next up, make sure it is tween service colon create your rolling background UI info, background transparency set to 1, as well as the rolling title text transparency set to 1, and the roll rarity text transparency also to 1. All of those I think you can find down here somewhere, because I have cut them out and put them inside here. But you can just directly get them from down below, because I think those lines existed before. Now you just want to say remotes toggle UI effect and fire it to false as well, because we're setting the UI effect on the roll button as well. I can show you real quick. I roll and the effect appears. I press decline and it disappears. Exactly. Now if we were to go back into the rolling handler, you can also see that I've tweened the decline button to the UI info, the background transparency set to 1, and the title in decline button is the text transparency to 1. You can copy and paste this and set this to accept button instead of decline button. Next up, you want to add those 4 lines in the roll button.activated. So if accept connection, then you want to set the accept connection to disconnect. That is a weird thing which I'm not gonna correctly explain, because I have actually no idea how that works. So basically, if I were to, well, I'm gonna explain this later, because it's kind of complicated right now. So just make sure the accept connection gets disconnected, as well as the decline connection. Now the accept connection and the decline connection are gonna be underlined as an error for you, because I actually haven't set the accept and the decline connection to anything, but we're gonna change that in a second. Next up, set the roll title .accept button .visible to false, as well as the decline button to false. And then that should be everything. If you go further down, you can set the UI effect to true right here. There was another line to set the, I think it was the rolling background to 0.85 background transparency, but you can completely remove that and just toggle the UI effect. If you go even further down, you can see there are a ton of lines, and yes, you have to add them to make the effect like look better, I guess. So accept button dot background transparency set to 1, role title dot accept button dot title text transparency 1. You can copy and paste them. For the decline button, now set the accept button to actually visible as well as the decline button. Now you want to create a few tweens for the role title dot decline button, which is gonna tween the background transparency to 0 as well as the title to text transparency 0. Then you can copy and paste them for the accept button, and that's basically it. Now all you have to do is do two more functions, which is the accept connection, which is gonna be equal, okay, make sure this is exactly like this, accept connection is equal to the role title accept button dot activated connect to a function, right? Make sure this is activated and not activate. There are two different things. Now for this thing, you will want to add a remote event inside the rolling folder, like the remote rolling folder, which is gonna be add aura. This add aura is a remote event, as I just said, and if you were to fire the server with the role table and index it with the number of roles, then you are gonna fire the current info of the aura you've rolled. And down here you can turn off the UI, you can wait a bit until the roll time is over and set the roll debounce to false and just return nothing. Then you can copy and paste this, make sure it's the decline connection and decline button right here, and then just remove this rolling RAM, or like the remote that you are firing right here. Now sorry if I sped on over this, but I hope that you've gotten everything, and I am gonna explain the accept connection and the decline connection real quick. So if I were to hit play, right, if I were to hit roll real quick, you can see if I accept, I will get my name and the aura I've rolled. If I were to hit roll and click accept again, you can see there's only one more aura, or like one more info. If I wasn't doing the connection thing, then it would have printed out the original aura that I've gotten, so basic as well as the uncommon. And if I were to roll again, I would get 3 values, so basic, uncommon and the new aura. But if we were to do the accept connection, it basically disconnects anything we've had before, so it only gets the new aura. That's basically the short explanation. But you aren't gonna be printing out any info right here, because we actually haven't scripted that. So if we were to go into script service, into update values, you can see I've added this. So make sure rolling RAM, wait for child, add aura, on server event, colon connection, function with the player, and the aura table is right here. Now this is a ton, but you can basically copy anything over from right here. And right here you just want to print out the player and the aura table. So you're gonna print out yourself, or like your name and the aura that you've just gotten. Nice. Now I am gonna show you guys something which is gonna be in the game. So if I were to hop over to the server, you can see if I go inside my player, inside my inventory, inside my owned auras, you can see there are a few auras, right? And we want to make this so it actually adds another value right here, or it increases this value if you've gotten a duplicate. So what we're gonna do, so we're gonna quickly remove all of those except one, because we're gonna test things out. Actually, we can remove all of them because we don't need any of them. So if I were to go back into the client, you can see I have nothing in my inventory, and that is correct. So I can hit roll, you can see the info is right here, but there's nothing in my inventory. So if I were to go into update values, we're firstly gonna get our inventory. So local inventory is gonna be set to player, wait for child, inventory, like this, and then local owned auras gonna be inventory, wait for child, owned auras. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a new number value. So we can do new aura, which is gonna be a instance.new number value, like that. You can say that new aura.parent is gonna be owned auras, and new aura.name is gonna be aura table and index it with 1. Next up, new aura dot value is gonna be set to 1. So if we were to hit play, if I were to check my inventory, we don't have anything. If I were to hit roll and accept this aura right here, you can see I have a basic. If I were to hit roll again and I get my uncommon, you can see that works. If I were to hit roll and get a basic again, you can see there are 2 basics in my inventory. So either we are gonna keep this like that, like any other RNG game, or we can set a little counter below this name, which basically counts how many duplicates we currently have. Or we are just gonna do this. You guys can decide, but I think we are gonna do this because it will work better. And also, I just realized that we don't actually like need to change the value or anything, because we are just gonna set new number values and whatnot. So we don't actually have to change the value at all. We can just keep this like that. It's gonna be simple and short. So next up, we can close this and this as well, and we are gonna go to the inventory. So make sure you open the side buttons, underscore inventory and inventory handler. Inside here we can say right here below this and for every single frame inside our was it a holder that we've defined? Did we even define this? No, we didn't. Actually, we did. This is the inventory holder. Alright, so every frame inside inventory holder, like this, get children. Then we can do if frame is a frame. Sorry, not a frame, a UI button. I think that works. UI button, a GUI button, sorry, GUI button. And we can also change, oops, I did not mean to do that. I have to reopen all of them. So if I were to hit Ctrl Shift R, and if I were to change this to just button, sure. If this is a GUI button, then we can do button dot activated, like this, connect to a function, and that's all. One more thing we can do is we can say that the function inside here is gonna get the aura name, which is gonna be a string, like so. If we were to do this, we can basically print out the aura name, which is gonna be set to button.name. So if we were to hit print aura name, actually now that I think about it, what am I even doing here? Because that's not needed whatsoever. You can just do local aura name is a is the button name, and then we can print out the aura name. If we were to hit play, you can see that we have uncommon and basic right here. Oh wait, no, I just realized Roblox actually doesn't save multiple of the same number value, so we still have to change this value. Sorry, yeah, we have to do this. But right now, if I were to click any button right here, that actually doesn't work for whatever reason. So I have to change this as well. Let me just quickly check if it even finds any GUI button. Let me check. Yes, so it does find them, but the clicking doesn't work. So that is broken for whatever reason. Give me a second, I'm gonna figure that out real quick. Alright, I have found the solution, if I am not wrong. If I'm gonna test this out real quick, and you can see it does work now. So what I have changed is I've set this code right here to the bottom. I've checked if the inventory holder .child added, or like if a child gets added to the inventory holder, that gets connected to a function with the button, or the child that got added. So if the button is a GUI button, then we can set the button to active, and if the button got activated, then it prints out the button.name. So we can check this. I open it and it gets the buttons. I close it, open it again, and it works. That is perfect. So now we can actually start. First of all, I would like to go inside of my inventory again, because I'm gonna change this thing right here real quick. As you can see, I am gonna change the showcaser and the options real quick. I am gonna keep them in, but I'm gonna make them not visible for the moment. I'm gonna add another frame. This frame is gonna be set to the same anchor point as the showcaser, as well as the size. Not the position, but the size. And the position is not gonna be this, but we can paste this in for now. This is not gonna be 0.29 but 0.5. I think a bit more, like 0.55 maybe. And then we have to increase this vertical size to about less than 0.8 maybe. Needs a bit more, so I would say 0.9. That's too much, so we're gonna do I think 8.5 might be good. 8.5 is perfect, so we can do position is 0.545, so it is a bit more in the middle. Then you can set this again to black, set the background transparency to 0.5 or whatever we had. Yeah, it was 0.5. And now we can copy and paste a UI corner inside here. Maybe even increase this to like 0.02. Sure, but this needs a bit more increase. So instead of 0.85, we can do 0.87. And as you can see, that looks perfect. So inside this frame, we can do this selection, and inside the selection we're gonna add a text label, which is gonna be anchor point 0.5 on both, position 0.5 on both. Size is gonna be 0.85, background transparency 1, font face Nunito, or whatever you font that you've used on every button. That is Mullish, not Nunito. Nunito, there we go. Make sure the tag color is white, text scaled, and you can do please select something like that. We can set it to bold so it looks a bit better, and we can also set the text transparency to 0.25 or like even further to 0.75. So you can see, actually let me remove this dot rail now. And you can see it looks a lot better. We can also remove this and set this to italic, and I like that a lot. We can also quickly increase this right here, the UI corner. Not like 0.1, that is way too much. Maybe like that, yeah, 0.05. So that is my inventory completed. I can set this to invisible again. If we go into the inventory handler, right here we can do where we activate the button. You can set the have we set the parent actually? No, we have not set the parent. So we can do local main holder. It's gonna be script.parent. So we can also remove this and change this to main holder. So let's do main holder dot selection. It's gonna be dot visible set to false. Main holder dot showcaser dot visible is true, and main holder dot options dot visible is also set to true. Next up, if you were to hit play, you can see I opened the inventory. It says please select something. If you were to hit basic, it shows those two labels. If you were to close it and open it again, it stays the same. So next up we can basically set the entire info. So it is gonna be local aura name. That is gonna be. Actually, we need. How are we gonna do this? We can do aura name, aura rarity, as well as the aura color. So we are gonna do for I in aura table inside I pairs of the aura list. Yep, we have defined it. So inside our aura list we can do quickly print out aura table just to check something. So if we were to open this up and select something, you can see every single aura. Alright. Next up we are gonna go inside our inventory table, inventory handler, not table, and we are gonna change this to if our table index 1 is gonna be equal to our button dot name, then we can say aura name is equal to the aura table index 1, then aura rarity is gonna be aura table index 2, and aura color is aura table 3, like that. I think actually let's change all of that. Let's do aura info and let's do a empty table. Sure. And all we have to do is basically keep this if, right? Keep this if like that. So let's do table dot insert into the aura info like that, and add a new value which is gonna be aura table and index it with. Actually no, all we have to do, we don't even have to do this, we can do aura info is set to the aura table like this. If we were to go down and print our aura info, you can see that it should be exactly the info that we need. This is the uncommon and this is the basic. Works perfectly. So all we have to do now is we can basically let me think. We can do local showcaser. That is gonna be main holder wait for child showcaser, and local options is gonna be main holder wait for child options. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do showcaser dot aura name dot text is gonna be set to the aura info index 1 index 1 like this. And then we are gonna do showcaser.aura name.text color 3, which is gonna be our aura info and index 3, and showcaser.aura rarity.text is gonna be set to, let me check. Yes, so we can do actually showcaser.ourName.text is gonna be set to string.format 1 in %d. Set a comma right here and just get the aura info index 2. If we were to hit play, you can see I opened this up, click on uncommon, and okay, that's dumb. I completely I set aura name right here. You have to set this to aura rarity, not aura name. So if we were to go back in the inventory, you can see uncommon 1 in 7, basic 1 in 2, and it switches freely between them. If we were to roll another basic, you can see gets added, and that works as well. We can also just quickly get a different aura, hopefully, otherwise I'm gonna add it myself. Right, I'm gonna add one myself real quick. Go in the inventory, duplicate one of them, and change the name to legendary. If you were to go in the inventory, you can see legendary works, 1 in 45, and those work as well. Now, we are gonna do equipping and deletion sometime later, but for now we have to do something else, which is scripting the duplicates, because we actually haven't done that. So if we were to go back up right here, there is one more thing that we have to do, and inside new temp we actually have to set this into a for loop. So cut that out, say for j in, actually no, we have to do for j is equal to the value of the aura, or the actual thing that we, wait, let me check something. The aura table is a actually we are already getting that. Let me think. Yeah, so that is completely fine. We can do cut it out, right? Cut it out, say for j is equal to v dot value. Yeah, j is v dot value. We have to set this to 0 and to -1. And that is it, because now all we have to do is paste this in, and if I am not wrong, it should create one of all currently. Okay, that is bad. Why did it create 2? I think I know why. Because instead of setting it to 0, we have to set it to 1 right here. So make sure it is set to 1. If I were to open the inventory, you can see I have one of all of them, because the value is 1 on every single one. And if we were to go back to our accept button, so rolling handler, and scroll a bit down to the accept button, we can see that it fires to the server. So go to update values and change this up a bit. So all we have to do is change this to a if. So actually for every single aura inside pairs owned auras get children, do if aura dot name is exactly the same as aura table index 1, then what we can do is set the aura dot value plus equal 1 like this and return. And else, if we actually, so if the aura dot name is not the actually sorry, instead of setting aura dot name like that, we have to do if that is the same, then we have to do aura, and we actually have to check if aura No, wait. Yeah, no, that works. So if aura.name is the same as this, then it adds 1 to the value. So basically, if it finds a aura of the same name as the name that we've just rolled, then it adds 1 to the value. Otherwise, we have to add a if. So actually, no, we don't. We can just paste this in and keep it like that, because it returns right here, so that's completely fine. You can keep this in and just add this for loop, right? If I am not wrong, that should completely work. We can go into our inventory, check owned auras, basic is set to 1. If I were to roll a common, you can see that gets added and the value is 1. I can check the inventory, that completely works with everything else. If I roll again, get a common again, it should not get 1, instead increase the value. And if I were to go in the inventory, you can see I have 2, so that works completely fine. I can also roll another common, that is 3, I can roll another common, that is 4, and as you can see it just increases. And I rolled a second basic. So check the inventory, there are 4 commons, like we should have, and 2 basics. 1 legendary and 1 uncommon. Perfect. So now one more thing before the episode ends is we are gonna quickly script our search bar. Sure, let's do that. So go inside our inventory handler, and what we are gonna do is we're gonna go inside of our, let me find our search bar, there it is. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna do inventory holder, no, sorry, main holder dot search bar dot I think it was focus lost, connect this to a function. Okay, what just happened? Sorry, connect this to a function, and inside here you can do enter pressed input that caused focus lost, but we don't need that. So all we need is the enter pressed, I think. Yeah, enter pressed, which is a boolean, and the input is fine, we don't need that. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna do local search text, that is gonna be our search main holder dot search bar dot text, and we are gonna lower this, so every letter is basically lowercase instead of uppercase or capitalized or whatever. And then we also have to say if enter pressed is equal to true, or we can remove this, just if enter pressed, then we can do for every single aura inside our let me think, what was it again? Inventory holder, right? Get children, do, sorry, what did I do? Like this. Exactly. So if we are gonna grab every single aura inside our inventory handler, inventory holder, and if our aura is a UI button, then we can also check. If aura dot name lower is equal to the search text. Sorry. If how can we do this? If aura dot name lower, and then all we have to do is if it finds the search text, then we can do aura dot visible true, else aura dot visible false. And then we can also do if search text is just nothing in general, then aura.visible is true, like this. Yep. If we were to go in game, check our inventory. Let's search for basic. If I were to unfocus, nothing happens, but if I were to search for basic, press enter, you can see that works. I can find my basics. If I do nothing and press enter, you can see every aura appears. If I were to do legendary, hit enter, find the legendary. Let's do uncommon. That is fine, found the uncommon. If I were to just do common, you can see it finds the uncommons and as well as the commons. Why? Because uncommon actually has common inside its name, and common, you know, has common in its name. So if we were to search just M, you can find every single aura that has an M. Any A auras, those are all A auras, like that have an A and whatnot. So we can also, instead of saying if enter pressed, if E1, you can completely remove this. Remove that, remove this end, and press Shift Tab to like lower this ones, and then it just searches instantly. So if we were to search for common, we don't even have to press enter because it finds them immediately. I always press enter because of reasons, I don't even know why. If I were to just search common and click away, you can see it still finds it, so we don't even have to press enter, like this. So I can like, yeah, that's just the search bar. Before we end, we can quickly strip this inventory, or like the max inventory thing. That shouldn't take long. So we can do up here, remote wait for child switch UI. We can quickly do up here actually. We can do 4. No, you don't have to do this. All you have to do is go up here, say main holder dot top bar dot space dot title dot text. It's gonna be set to string dot format, and just be careful of what you set in here. So all we have to do is basically say %d, actually %d like this, slash and another %d like this. Set a comma right here, and now for the last thing, what we have to do is we have to set the following, which is gonna be player dot inventory dot owned auras get children, and put a hashtag in front. So that is one thing down, and then we, okay, why is it erroring? Since I found it, right, this has to be a string. So we can cut this out and do toString and paste this inside here. If I am not wrong, why is it still erroring? Tensei formatted version of which must be a string, right? Okay, fine. I guess we can do it differently. We can do local formatted text, which is gonna be. Actually, no. We have to do multiple cases to keep it simple. So local current inventory space is gonna be the number of player dot inventory dot owned auras and get children. Now we do local max inventory space, which is gonna be player dot inventory dot, I think it was, wait, let me just check real quick. which is gonna be max inventory. Like this, we can copy the text. So dot inventory dot max inventory dot value, and then we are gonna do local formatted text, which is gonna be current inventory space dot dot slash dot dot max inventory space. And then all we have to do is set the main holder dot top bar dot space dot title dot text to the formatted text. So if we were to open the inventory, you can see 4 out of 69 because we have set our max inventory to 69, and that works. But there is one more thing, and there are only 4 out of 69, which is incorrect because it gets how many of those are in the inventory and not actually how much. Like it doesn't count the value of every single number value. So we quickly have to fix this. We are gonna do, instead of saying the number of this, we can remove this and add a for loop in between here. Say for every single actually no, let me think. Now we have to do this. Alright, I am dumb, sorry. We can grab all of this, cut that out, and paste this in front of our for loop right here. Paste that in, and to local current inventory space that is set to 0, but we are gonna do a for loop right here. So for every single aura in pairs of player dot inventory dot owned auras get children. So it's basically the same loop as below, and we are gonna do all of this and replace this with aura dot value. That seems correct. So make sure you have set this like me, and if we were to go in the game, you can see we actually have 8 out of 69. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is correct, and we are gonna script it later on so it actually, you know, stops the rolling if we were to get too much or like a value above our max inventory. Because right now, if we were to decrease this to like 10, you can see it is 10 out of 10, but if I were to roll again, accept this, you can see it is 11 out of 10. So we have to fix that as well. But right now we are finished with the inventory, and we are gonna do the deletion button, the log button, and the correct counting value at the top later on. So thanks for watching. I hope you had a nice Christmas, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.